Dua Lipa's probably the biggest pop star in the world, in fairness.
Well, I need to get out more, to be honest. I've been told that by a few friends lately,
Well, I mean,
including my mother.
I don't think getting out solves the... You could stay in.
I could stay in and listen to the radio.
You're not gonna run into Dua Lipa in Preston. Yeah.
I honestly, no, I don't know Dua Lipa.
Welcome, everybody, to the Round 10 episode of the Magoos. Ben, we are here.
Yep.
Again.
Loving it.
But we're one man down. Not that you'd be able to tell from the footage, of course, because our man, I guess, somewhat behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Producer Jack's not here today.
The producer, we're down a producer. It's funny because last week we had no tweets come in last week. This week we're down a producer.
Mm-hmm.
Is it safe to say we are... next week I think it's just going to be me on the show. Just me in my bucket.
Just you in the bath. just set the camera up there.
Could do a segment of me in the bath. I don't know how many people would tune in.
Yeah.
But that could be interesting.
It's a whole new can of worms, isn't it? Ben in the bath.
Jake, I actually wanted to thank you.
Great.
Just
about time.
It's
about time.
I'd like to thank you and Carlton. I'd like to actually... I was going to give Jack, if he was here, a bit of shit about the Bombers beating Geelong on the weekend.
Do you think that's why he's not here?
Maybe, yeah. But I wasn't going to give him shit. I was actually going to, on behalf of Essendon, I'd like to thank Carlton, actually, because you guys made us hit rock bottom the week before, which was great.
Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom, don't you? Just to realise,
if we got a scrappy win against you guys, let's say we won by a couple of goals, and it was like, whatever. We would have got demolished by Geelong the following week, I think.
But you're welcome.
Thank you.
On behalf of all Carlton people, I guess.
You guys were brought back down to earth, weren't you? A little bit.
Well, God. Speaking of rock bottom.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's a part of the journey, I think. I mean, you don't want to play like that too often, but
it's a long journey.
We head down to Geelong and then we head up to Sydney in the next couple
in that order, are you coming back down to Lygon before you go?
I think it depends how bad the loss may be to Geelong, whether or not we come back.
You're playing in Geelong.
I might just go straight there. Yeah,
that's gonna be.
Yeah, I'll be there Saturday night. That's how I'm spending my Saturday night.
You going up there?
Down there. Yeah, down to the Cattery,
down the highway, down the
first time ever at that start. I know it's GMHBA Stadium now, but I've never been there before. Ticking it off a footy bucket list. Not sure if 150-point loss is the way to experience Geelong.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say you guys might bounce back a little bit, but then again, they would want to bounce back too.
That's the thing. As much as you thank me for you've really stoked the fire with Geelong.
Yeah,
and they'll come out. Speaking of the wins of last week, the winners. Essendon won by 34 points in what is widely, received as a pretty even competition.
Yeah.
The lowest winning margin this week was 28 points. And that was Collingwood over St Kilda, I think, and then everyone else won by more.
That was the lowest. There was no couple. Really?
No, that was the lowest winning margin of round 9. And I mean, obviously, your Bombers won by 34 points.
They did.
In probably one of the games that you thought if it was going to go the other way, that would be a bit tighter. And even the West Coast Richmond game ended up being a little bit of a blowout over there.
Yeah.
So
interesting times. Has everyone been during the week just talking about the games, the games being ruined by these blowouts after one? Because they always jump to conclusions after 1 week of something.
Just find like equalisation. Where is it? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just like 1 week an umpire gets touched and it's like, where's
and then
the game
next week
at?
It happens 5 times.
Do
we close the doors?
I do like the argument that maybe these umpires are getting a little too close to the
close.
play. But
absolutely too close.
We've already spoken about that.
We have.
We don't need to go into
that was my argument. So thanks for referencing me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no worries.
But
go for it. Yep.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
No.
I was just actually going to say that just on Carlton, your man Paddy Cripps, I've spoken about him a couple of times. The least games to reach 1,000 contested possessions.
Great.
That's a phenomenal sort of feat, isn't it? Like that's pretty.
It'd be nice if someone helped him out at some stage and he stopped having to get every single contested possession. But no, that's okay. He's a great player.
Yeah, there was a couple of arguments though that perhaps that stat isn't as much as it was maybe a couple of years ago due to congestion. So there are going to be more contested possessions. But then on top of that, you're actually going to, is it probably harder to get those contested because there's more people competing
more
for
people
it.
wanting it. Yeah, so I think it's still relevant. Patrick's a star. We just need to re-sign him for 2 years.
At all. He's gone.
Speaking of stars, it's been after one poor week. They've come after Gary Ablett this week against your mob. Essendon hit him hard, and as you said, the media like to change their agenda week on week.
Yeah, it's on Gary this week.
Yeah, they've come after Gary Ablett, and I, for one, I mean, people are questioning whether or not Geelong going after him was the right idea and they didn't do their due diligence and all this sort of hysteria. He'll get 40 touches and kick 3 goals against Carlton this week.
Unless you put a body on him. He doesn't seem to love the hard ball as much as
he doesn't. But I mean, does he need to? I mean, he's got a a pretty prime midfield around him.
He does, but that's what Essendon did well in that situation.
They did hit him hard, didn't they?
Well, they hit the others hard, the ones that get in and under your Selwoods and Dangers. And
made them.
But I think, hysteria. He's no doubt a go. Those Hamies are questionable, but you're right. He'll probably get 40 and 3 goals this week.
Judge their move at the end of this year or the end of next year, whenever he finishes. Because if they go on and win the flag this year, which they might.
Might.
Yeah. No one's going to care how he played in round 9, are they?
No.
Or if they win 2 or 3 finals or whatever, or he puts in a huge prelim or something, or gets them over the line in a final, no one's going to go, but against Essendon in round 9. Remember that day he had 18 touches?
Yeah, no, you're 100%.
I mean, he's still got a health, getting a lot of the footy prior to that.
Yeah.
And he's obviously played a bit more time forward. I think that, it's just...
Maybe this is their master plan, and actually are just priming him for finals and... No one wins finals in what are we, May?
It doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't.
I mean, they're going to make the finals and they'll probably make top 4. I mean, I know they've got to keep winning and whatever, but, it seemed like a bad day for the whole side, let alone...
Oh, it was the whole side.
Yeah.
Well, you can't just pin it on game.
Poor... I mean, he still had 18 touches. I mean, I know that's well below his output, but, I mean, he didn't have 6 or 7 or something. Yeah, absolutely. God, you take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And so will Geelong, unfortunately. Although they're on the fringe, aren't they? They're on the fringe of the round 8.
Yeah, it's pretty tight in there. So I think that
North are back in, which is good. Well,
Geelong will get a bit of a percentage boost this weekend. Yeah, North continue to impress.
Yeah,
We will talk a little bit more about some of those sides as we get further into the show.
What do you reckon? We get into it.
Why not? What else is there to do? Okay, Benny.
Yeah, mate.
We're ready.
Sorry.
That's
I don't know why I did that.
We're ready for the Magoo's moment of the week.
I'm pumped. What do you got for us this week, Jake?
Not a bad one. Not a bad little one. It's obviously the West Coast are the buzz team at the moment. Yeah. They're in form. They're a game clear on top of the ladder. They're packing out the new Optus Stadium. And one man who is absolutely playing career best football is Jack Darling. Now, he's obviously played a lot of footy for West Coast in the senior side. So, I mean, it's a bit blurred in terms of the Magoo's moment sort of side of things. But he's been... He's been the Magoo's forward. He's been the second big forward.
I like that correlation, actually.
So he's obviously always been the little brother effect to Josh Kennedy. Yeah. And even Mark Lacroix at stages. Yeah. You know, those two have worked together. And then Jack Darling's sort of been there and has been criticised of never really taking over and reaching his potential and all those sort of things. And then this season that game was on the weekend was really sort of the icing on the cake in terms of really announcing himself as a really dominant key forward. I mean, his last 2 weeks have been exceptional, but he now sits second in the Coleman medal. He obviously kicked 6 against Richmond on the weekend. He had more marks inside 50 than 5 clubs did on the weekend.
Really? How many did he have?
He had 8. Don't ask questions without notice.
There was 5. There was 5 clubs that didn't have 8. 5 clubs that didn't have 8.
Gold Coast had 1. Carlton wasn't even one of them either, and we got beaten by and Carlton got beaten by 109 points. But Gold Coast had 1. Jack Darling had 8.
Jesus,
it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. It's fun. Do you think that, I know it's a very good observation that he's, the Magoo's in that forward line, but do you reckon he's always been on the brink of doing something good? Like, he's always had games here and there where he's not to mention he's got his physique's very very good. Like, he's just a very fit, very tall guy. Takes a great clunk, but he's finally getting them all to go together. The clunking, the marking.
I wonder if it's a coincidence. I mean, he's recently married and had a child and stuff like that. So
really dug deep
25. Maybe if he's just maybe he's just really, ready to have a full-on crack. 25, yeah.
Jesus, what am I
born
doing with
about
my
a
life?
month before me, yeah.
Yeah. He's born after you?
No, month before I just said.
Oh, a month before you just said that. All right.
But yeah, so he kicked... So just to give you some context he played 23 games last year and kicked 43 goals.
Yeah.
And he's already kicked 28 this year, and we're up to... We've played 9 rounds, so I don't think he's played every game.
There's other things he's doing with it, though, as well. It's not just the goals. He's actually around the ball.
So he's the most contested marks in the AFL, the most marks inside 50 for the AFL.
Yeah.
Paul Hazelby, Freo Dockers legend, said that
Hazels, if you want to come on the show.
The best player in the competition right now.
I think that's...
High praise from the Norwich Rising Star winner, Paul Hazelby.
Norwich Rising Star. You have done your research.
Well, I just remember Paul Hazelby won the Norwich Rising Star. Of course, before it was the NAB Rising Star.
Yeah. Oh.
Norwich were the sponsor.
Okay. Wow.
So
just the Rising Star. Should just leave it at that. I don't like that businesses have to,
attach their brand to things in order to
what does
gain
NAB
exposure.
What does NAB have to do with football?
Well, we're doing just fine without a sponsor.
They're more than just money, apparently. But we need some money. NAB, if you
We
want
need
to
some
chuck your
money
name
badly.
on anything,
So
come to us.
the Magoo's moment of the week is Jack Darling continues to impress and almost taking over the number one mantle from Josh Kennedy at West Coast.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Almost,
That's a healthy rivalry then.
That's a huge 1-2 punch. That's what it is.
Yeah,
You're going to go a long way in September if you've got two key forwards up and firing like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you. Yeah, cheers.
Congratulations, Jack Darling.
Just another feather in his cap.
That's it. What do you reckon?
Hazelby says he's the best player in the comp. I say he's the best second forward at West Coast.
He did mean right now, and I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yep, agreed.
What do you reckon, Jake? Time to get on to some Twitter questions?
Yeah, hunt through the socials.
Yeah, well,
We're inundated after our
The
desperate
fine-tooth
pleas.
comb that we've had. Last week we didn't
desperate
have
pleas.
any. We're up significantly this week with one.
What percentage is that? You can't have percentages.
I was
with
going to say
zeros.
100. I'm like, no,
Yeah, it's
that's
not
zeros.
100%.
You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realised that. But lucky I didn't say it. What do we have? Do you have that or do I have that?
You've got that.
Okay. I didn't have that.
You're usually the guy that hits it up.
That's
and then
true.
You ask me and we go back and forth.
Yeah,
We're falling apart without Jack. Is there?
That's true. Yeah, we do probably need him, don't we? Oh, well. But I'll have it here from @Lucas Avram. He's a very big fan of the show.
He is.
We're
We've
a
got
big
a few
fan
of
of
them.
Lucas. Love your profile picture, by the way, with you and the Dales, by it looks like it. Anyway, that's beside the point. We've got... we should actually state that breaking news during the week was Dane Beams has stepped down
Yeah, I saw
as
that.
captain
It was
of
a little
Brisbane.
bit,
Huge news. I think
yeah, he's
rightfully
yeah, well, he's got some
good reasons.
Like he lost his father not too long ago, and then he's about to have his second child with his wife and stuff. So there's obviously a lot going on, and he said that he couldn't. He was trying to find himself in the game again, and didn't want to obviously overcommit to the whole side of the other thing. So there's a good chance for Dane Zorko as captain, but he also spoke pretty openly about his mental health issues and how he feels like talking about it and all those sort of things, and that it shows it's courageous and shows strength to come out and seek help and those sort of things, which was a really good thing to hear from a role model in the AFL community. A lot of people, I think. There is still a stigma attached to that sort of thing. So
absolutely.
I think there was,
and it happened during the NBA season as well with Kevin Love and DeMar DeRozan coming out as well. Yeah. So I think that might be it's like a good ripple on effect.
Yeah,
I mean, the more high up people who want to talk about it, the better, obviously.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because that would help with the stigma of it. But the question from Lucas is this the first time a captain has stood down mid-season? That's the first question. And follows it on with the correlation's not exactly down the line, but he said, and then should Murphy follow Dane Beams and hand it over to Cripps now? Yeah,
the correlation's an interesting one because Dane Beams, as we said, has got some personal issues that he wants to put more time into.
Yeah.
But Mark Murphy's just sort of captaining a side that will be good when he's not there, sort of thing.
I also think with Carlton, is there any point in doing it mid-season? It's not going to change much. I mean, it is delaying the inevitable, but it's also a bit of a kick you while you're down. I mean, Murphy's had a couple of injuries.
Yeah, I don't think he should hand it over. I think that they will at season's end. I think that they'll probably make Doherty and Cripps co-captains.
Yeah, so you forget about Doherty, don't you?
I think
that's a good in to come back.
But if I was Mark Murphy, I'd be leaving Carlton at the end of this year.
Oh.
He is a
free agent. First, is he?
I don't think he will because I think he's a pretty loyal guy.
But is the club going to be loyal to him?
Yeah. I think the club will definitely keep him. But if I was him, I'd be doing a little bit of a Brett Deledio. I mean, it didn't work out great for Brett Deledio, who left Richmond and Mr. Flag.
You still roll the dice.
He went to where he'd put in. I mean, Murphy's put in 12 years of service.
Okay, yeah.
Does he go and top off, be the icing on the cake for a Hawthorn or maybe a Geelong? Somewhere that can fit him in on good enough money, and have a. I mean, I think guys like that deserve a flat. No one really begrudged Brett Deledio for, especially because that happened with the Flag next year, the side he left. But he went to GWS.
Yeah.
Chasing the. They always say your football career. Is such a small.
It is a small win,
part of
yeah.
your life.
Absolutely.
So it's be a tough decision to make. Of course, Brendan Goddard made it a little bit earlier, leaving St Kilda to go to Essendon,
which I think is why he's a little bit frustrated as well.
Didn't quite work out, but look, I don't think Murphy should be handing over the captaincy now. I don't as you said, I don't think it gets you anywhere. But if I was him, I'd probably sort of be looking to maybe just see some and it might be a best for everyone.
I was going to say, you look at it from the club perspective, from Carlton, it's like he's been a great servant, as you said, 12 years. Do we like that extra 3-4 years or whatever he's got left in him? Is that where are we going to be in that sort of timeline? Like, is that And
you don't want to sell the farm and get rid of all your senior players either. No. They've obviously made the decision to trade Gibbs, and you wouldn't get really anything for Mark Murphy in way of compensation. But
you don't think?
What can you get?
Well, it depends if someone's a premiership window that are going for it, and they're like, "Well, we give up something."
Yeah, well, you're not going to obviously as an unrestricted free agent, you're not going to trade for him.
No.
So you're not going to get what you got for Gibbs, and you wouldn't anyway, even if you could trade Murphy. But I just think that would probably make a bit of sense because Murphy's a really good player, but if he can get his foot right and get fit, he probably deserves the chance to have a real crack at a flag with
get your foot right,
with a side that get it right, Mark.
Do
yourself a favour.
It's funny. It doesn't matter what we have written down here on our run sheet. It comes back to being a bit of a Carlton show.
Well, Mark Murphy, I'm just not sure where we all sit. But I did speak about Brett Deledio. What did we start with then? I can't even remember.
Just something about the captaincy.
Oh, Dane Beams. Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, that's a good chat.
So it's a good chat. So you're saying no to handing it over midway through the season. Yep. We'll regroup at the end and see where we're at. Not just only giving over the captaincy, but you've gone and said we'll also ship him off.
Potentially. So, Ben, I noticed that you've slipped Cane Corns of the Week back into our final segment of this week.
Noticed you have. It's good when you don't have a producer on the show because you start just going rogue and doing whatever the hell you want.
Do whatever you want. Well,
because last week's one wasn't great, so I thought...
I'm surprised it featured at all this week.
It's featuring whether anyone likes it or not. You can fast forward this a couple of minutes to the end if that's how you want to roll. But, Cane Corns of the Week, around 10, it's a really easy one, to be honest, this week. Usually you got to do a little bit of digging, a little bit of research, but the last...
I saw a couple this week. I was going to message it, but then I thought, no, that's fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
If I help you.
Plus, you would rather me come out here and do a shit job and you go, yes, Magoo's moment's going up again. Yeah. We're just going back and forth.
People will tune out. I'm sure if we get that technology of when people stop watching.
But feel free to actually message me next time in case I hadn't seen it myself. But this week, at the end of the round, thank God, it just silver platter this week. It's going to Robert Walls, your mate, the old Carlton supporter, Robert Walls. This one was really easy. He quoted after the West Coast and Richmond game. He said they, West Coast, were always going to beat Richmond because it was their grand final. They were playing at home. It was the biggest game they've played in probably 5 years.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I actually watched it live.
5 years. I'm not sure if you're aware, or you probably are, but I'm not sure if Robert Walls is aware. They played in an actual grand final 3 years ago. I mean, come on, Robert. This is your job.
It's like he's like Cane Corn's grandpa or something.
He could well be. Have they been tested?
Yeah, I don't test. I mean, he could be his dad. Cane Corn's about 40, so
yeah, I doubt it's going to be his grandfather, but dad. We also know his dad too, don't we?
Well, so we thought.
Honestly, I haven't even heard the term Robert Walls since West Coast were actually in a grand final. He also said 9 weeks ago that West Coast were going to finish bottom. So, yeah, Robert, not sure if
he's got a bit of the Grandpa Simpsons about him. just like saying things.
1963.
Just talking just to see
if
anyone's
he would.
listening.
He'd be the kind of guy who'd be like, I set the toaster to 3. It's like, Robert, shut up. I'm wondering if, because he's been out of it for a while, or actually don't even know, I'm not sure, I just haven't heard his name.
He moved to France for a while, I remember that.
He moved to France. That's too much cheese, Robert. He's come back and he's just full of
mulled wine.
Full of cheese and arrogance, maybe, I don't know.
It's a bizarre thing to say.
But it's very Kane Cornsy to just say that and not even... Is he trying to weasel his way back into...
It must be, I think.
Just using the same form. It's a formula. I can see it. It's a pattern. That bit of shock... It's not even just shock value. It's just, as you said, is anyone listening to me? I'm starting to bore you, mate, but... I'm hoping it's just lack of oxygen. You haven't been breathing enough today. But Robert Walls, easy pickings this week. Kane Corns of the week, round 10.
There you go, Robert.
That's good. Round 10. We've done... This is our 10th episode.
Right.
That's,
look out. Yeah.
I didn't think we had it in us, but here we are.
Double figures.
We're down a producer. Not sure if he's going to get to 10 rounds. Do you think he will?
No certainty.
No
I don't
certainty.
think. Another one that I had for you, I thought that we saw during the week a spectator at the Adelaide Oval on Friday night got banned for slapping Easton Wood on the backside. Will not be allowed to go to the Adelaide Oval for the rest of the season.
Sounds a little homophobic from the Adelaide Oval there.
The membership department.
Can't slap a guy on the bum. What can you do? That's 2018.
So I mean, you can't touch umpires, you can't touch players.
Just on the bum by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
If you patted him on the back, it would have been like...
Easton Wood was not impressed either. He did the whole turnaround and...
Yeah, I mean, especially an opposition player. If it would have...
Supporter.
Yeah, sorry. He's not in.
Yeah, they didn't ban Tex Walker.
Imagine that. But on that Tigers as well, just that Tigers West Coast game, Tigers are 0-2 interstate now. I know people have been talking about that this week, that they might not travel as well as they think. But I thought it was quite funny on Twitter, actually. There was a lot of heat coming from your West Coast supporters and your Tiger supporters, both arguing the same thing, really. Someone would be like, haha, Richmond, you're not too good interstate, are you? Blah, blah, blah. And then the Richmond would just reply, yeah, but the grand final is at the MCG, so
who cares?
What are you going to do about it?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Richmond, what do they travel? Maybe 5-6 times a year. If they, they might beat Brisbane if they have to go up there, for instance, and they've probably got a couple of games they'll win regardless of how well they'll travel. Yeah. But then they play a lot of other games in Melbourne. They're really good at their home ground, so if they get a couple of home finals, they go straight through. It's not even an issue, is it?
They're almost unbeatable at the G, aren't they? I think.
No, not unbeatable. Absolutely not. Definitely not
this
unbeatable.
Is something.
Can't
this is
5 goals
I've only just asked, but something you've clearly thought about.
Well, I just disagree.
Keeps you awake at night. By the sounds, no,
I've just been waiting for someone to say it to me this whole time. But
that was quick. Just no. Okay, no is the answer.
And again, speaking of travel, as you said, the West Coast. I've had a look at round 10 coming up, and I think Sunday is the day of footy that we'll be able to count on.
Yep.
A couple of really good games. The Eagles travel to Melbourne to play Hawthorn, but it's at Etihad. So if I was West Coast prior to the fixture being released, I would be saying, and I know there's all sort of corporate contract, all that sort of stuff, but I would be saying when we come to Melbourne, I understand if they're playing, say, St Kilda or the Bulldogs, they might have to, North Melbourne, they played Etihad, but I mean, they're playing Hawthorn. They play Carlton at the G. They're playing Hawthorn.
They played Carlton at the G.
Yeah, they did.
And they're playing.
Hawthorn at Etihad.
Makes sense to me.
I'd be saying, this is a team that needs as many MCG hit-outs as it can get.
Are you suggesting that other clubs, maybe Victorian clubs, have an input and thought, we know that they don't play that well at the G, and we know that they might make finals this year, so let's give them less games as possible at the MCG. Is that what are you conspiring over there?
No,
you got a conspiracy.
I'm thinking almost the exact opposite, because Vols Hawthorn, I'd want to play them at the G because they're significantly worse there.
Right. But but that's been in round 10. Maybe they're thinking ahead. You know what Clarko's like? He's writing memos every second week.
True.
He's saying, Gillen, can we play them at Etihad?
Very strategic, isn't he, Alistair?
He's very strategic.
He's playing the game.
It's
almost like he's from the future.
Maybe.
Also, maybe
he looks
not.
like he could be from the future.
It's interesting. Also on the Sunday, Melbourne host Adelaide in Darwin. So instead of that game being at the MCG, Melbourne have sold a home game, which is always interesting territory if they drop it, because third versus fourth, I mean, they're playing some good footy, so it might not be an issue, and Adelaide are pretty undermanned. But if you're selling home games and it costs you a spot, costs you a win, which then in turn can cost you a top 4, maybe even top 8, dare we say that?
Yeah.
Again, for the Demons, it's just one of those things where you got to weigh up the financial. And I mean, surely with those games, sell them to a team that you're probably going to beat anyway, not an Adelaide.
Yeah, that's true. Do you reckon that, say Melbourne do finish well in the 8 this year, do you think they looking further down the track, they go, all right, if we're actually a really good, successful club now, like if we could be pushing for a premiership the next couple of years, do we now drop those games?
It's obviously, again, the corporate side of things and making money and all that sort of stuff. So, but I mean, sell a home game in Brisbane or Freo or someone that
I completely agree with
that you're more likely to beat regardless. Like Adelaide at the MCG, it starts to tip it in Melbourne scale, but at a neutral ground, it just comes back to more of a level playing field. And I mean, it might be a bit luckier that Adelaide is still fairly undermanned, but they played pretty well last Friday. So I just wouldn't be handing over the ascendancy. That's all.
I agree. Totally agree.
And then the round finishes with Freo North Melbourne on the Sunday. So that's a big game. That's a big day of footy. I think Freo North is.
You reckon that'll be a good game?
I think it'll be. Yeah, it could be good enough. North Melbourne are in some good touch, and Freo back home at Optus Stadium will be.
So last week when I said that Sydney and Freo was going to be a good game,
yeah.
You've said absolutely not, which you were correct, but now
I was absolutely correct.
You substitute Sydney for North, and all of a sudden you're on board.
Yeah, but it's over in Perth, and North are okay, I guess. North are playing well.
Have you been watching them?
Yeah.
So have I, and
they still won't make the finals though.
I think they will.
Okay, I'll take that.
I really think they will.
I'll have a slice of that. What are you offering? What are you? Because they won't make the final sponsorship of our own show. Proudly sponsored by Jake, and then an arrow the points this way.
You put in 150 a week. Just have your name there. I'll give you a plug at the start.
Oh, great.
No, I think they will. I honestly reckon they might make the finals, yeah. If they keep going the way they are.
Well, if they keep going the way they are, because they're winning, but they won't. Because they won't.
Yeah.
They just won't. I just don't think they will. I mean, they're playing well enough, and Brad Scott's done a great job, but... Yeah. I just don't think they will. But that's fine.
They might not because I think the Bombers are back. We're talking flags again.
Okay.
Just about. Okay.
Great. That's a great way to end the episode.
Yeah, getting very silly. No, I think we will we'll beat GWS this week as well. I'm confident with that. Mm-hmm. Not because I think we're very good. I just think they've got a lot of injuries. And if we just rock up with the same sort of mentality as last week, it is really between the ears at the moment, I think.
That intensity and the tackling pressure and stuff. Yeah, unfortunately.
And I'd love to get 2 on the trot, and I'd love to see you guys get spanked again at Cardinia Park. Which
pray for me heading down the highway.
Likely, yeah. Be safe on the roads down there.
I'm going straight for me. So.
Oh, yeah. Good on you.
No, I'm not. It's Friday.
I was going to say.
Well, I'll be a day early. I'll go down Saturday.
You could look around Geelong. It's a nice town.
Yeah, it's not a bad town. I don't have any accommodations. I will go down tomorrow. I thought it was a Friday night game for some reason.
Anywho.
It's just incorrect.
What do you reckon?
Anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry for that. No. Fantastic. I forgot what day it was. No, I forgot when Carlton were playing, which might be might be the better way to go about it.
Yeah, I reckon. But people will believe that.
Thanks again for joining us. Make sure you follow us, share us, subscribe to us on all the socials.
Yeah.
Send
us in anything.
Personal problems, but you also see a little bit of humour on the socials from us lately. We've been a little bit funny.
Yeah, I noticed you made a nice little meme about me. Yeah. Thanks for that. Appreciate
funny
it.
Stuff,
Go the Dons.
All right. Thank you very much, Ben. Been good again. Jack, as non-existent as ever. Thanks for watching out there in the Magoo's community. We'll see you again next week.